Left side chance, score! Austin Matthews.
People see you at a game and they think that's great. You know, like you get to watch hockey for a living, but you don't know maybe what went into getting to that game. It might have been, you know, a 6 a.m. flight that meant you were up at 4 and a flight delay and renting a car and driving through a snowstorm. You're on the road often 20 plus days a month, but it's great. We have people in this room that are so passionate about it and love it. I can't tell you the debate for our later round picks. So if it's a 7th round, I want you jumping up and down when we get that player walking out the door, so excited. We all work way too hard, travel too much, and spend time away from our families to have a throwaway pick. From the 1st to the 7th round, it is absolutely crucial that we get it right.
The clock's ticking though towards July 1st. Is there pressure with that looming? How difficult is this with not knowing exactly the cap? Is it still your stance to match any offer sheet?
There's lots of conversations on lots of different players. It's been very, very busy that way. I only have last year and maybe 2015 as a real barometer, but certainly the most active of any of those years. And I think it's the uncertainty, the players unsigned, the salary cap not going up as much as forecast. It all contributes to a lot of discussion. So it's interesting times.
As of this moment, we have 7 picks, and in a perfect world, all 7 would contribute to the Maple Leafs. When you're picking early, you're expected to make good selections and you're expected to find contributors. But now that we're picking late, and as the years go on, and perhaps we elect to move our 1st-round pick to help our team and our chance to win now, it becomes imperative for us to find players in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 7th round that can help our team. Everybody here is a part of the process of forming that final list and evaluating the players. Some are evaluating them purely on their on-ice play. Others are analyzing them in terms of what we know about everything to do with their history, their production, so on and so forth. Then other members of our staff are analyzing their medical history.
He in fact did have some surgery on his left hip. That's where his primary problems are.
In addition to that, we have people on staff that are trying to get a good handle on their character and their makeup and how that's going to impact their development.
I actually spent a lot of time talking to him, more than most of the interviews here. I said he's a kind young man, competitive. This kid has fire in his eyes, he's smart, and he has edge.
That tends to build your whole story on every player, and then as the year goes on, you start to build your list of players. You're placing them in priority of projecting them out into who fits the criteria that we have as an organization and who could best help the Maple Leafs in the long run.
It's obviously draft day, round 1. We don't have a pick yet. I don't anticipate at this point, just on the way conversations are going, that we will have a pick, but as I've seen in the last day, things can drastically change. There are a few situations and possibilities that could see us move up in the 2nd round tomorrow. What I would like to do is have a discussion about, do we really think there is a lot of value in moving up, or do we think that we would be able to gain the exact same value in terms of a prospect or player by just standing in our spot?
We'll certainly have a better idea
After tonight.
Yeah. And certainly we'll know who's off the table, who isn't.
Right.
We draw lines, trade up, trade down lines. Depends on the situation for each, whether you would do either, but we have some guidelines that we've created that if this comes about and this certain number of players are available and we have an opportunity, let's say, to trade down and accumulate an extra pick or two, we would consider that. To trade up, if there's somebody we felt has slipped dramatically based on what we've done, we have all that ready to go ahead of time. Whether we do it or not, that just depends.
to round 2 of the 2019 NHL entry draft. You see the draft floor right there. You see the big board right there. Making some big news to start on day 2 right now.
The Maple Leafs did clear some salary cap room. His $6.25 million hit. He was traded to Carolina for a 2020 conditional first and a 2027. The Maple Leafs get a pick 2. If the pick is in the top 10 next year, it will be an unconditional 2021 first-round draft pick.
Everyone here knows how we feel about Patty Marleau and what he's done for our organization, so we were trying to do all that we could to help him. And you know, in our situation with our cap, we didn't want to do one of those trades where it was moving a salary or a cap hit that was going to take anybody off our roster. So you start to look at your draft capital, and when you're talking about a 6.25 cap hit and $4 million in cash, you start to have to pay a hefty price, and that's what we've done today.
Selection belongs to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Toronto selects from the Peterborough Petes, Nick Robertson.
All right, the Leafs selecting Nick Robertson, Sam, at number 53.
Another fantastic story. When you look at his background as a premature baby, he needed several steroid shots in order to stay alive. And in fact, with the cost of it, it took the very last shot that they were going to take with him with the steroid shot was what kept him alive.
He's a highly, highly motivated young man, very, very serious. Aside from the skill in the hockey sense, this kid lives, breathes, and eats hockey. That's all he does. You have to put faith that the players are going to do the work. You need highly motivated people, and he's certainly one of those guys. He wants it.
Yeah, it was definitely exciting. I mean, Toronto is kind of one of the places I want to go to, and to be their first pick in the draft is something special. I think they play my style. They're a lot about skill and puck possession and, you know, hockey IQ, and I think that's what I bring.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome to Leafs Nation. It looks good on you.
I know. I want to go to Toronto so bad.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. Well, Matthews was born in California, and they got Trevor Moore. California wasn't too heavily, you know, hockey-wise, and they decided as a family to move from California to Michigan. And in Michigan, you know, that's where the hockey is. Eventually, when I was about 14 years old, I moved to Toronto to play in the GTHL with my mom. And my mom has sacrificed so much for me to get here. She sacrificed her time with family, friends. She's the backbone of my career.
Yeah, I was so fired up
That was so sick.
What was Babs saying? Like,
I told Babs that he was in California when he coached Anaheim, and he moved to Michigan, and I moved to Michigan, and I trick-or-treated at his house.
Oh, really?
And then he moved to Toronto, and then I moved to Toronto for GTHO.
So you guys were boys before?
Oh, yeah.
When he was born premature. There was a decision needed to be made whether to put him on life support or not. When we made the decision to put him on life support, we didn't know what would happen. It was a friend of ours who told me that her friend's son had the same situation, and he went on to play hockey at Yale. That was like the light. So when his name was called, it was like, there's the light. I see the light. We made it. So happy for you.
For Nick, he was anxious in a way that he just wanted to get going to the next step. He just wanted to know which team believed in him and pretty much prove himself, and he just wants to get going.
I mentioned you in my interview. I mentioned you in my interview. Hey Leafs Nation, it's Nick Robertson here. I'm so excited to be wearing this jersey, and I can't wait to get to Toronto and get started.
Going 84th is Mikko Kokkonen of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
We have a real tight criteria in terms of the types of players that we're looking for and how we want to go about it. So we were excited to add the types of guys that we did.
As the day concluded, the Leafs with 6 picks overall, 3 defensemen, 2 centers, and 1 left winger.
Especially not having a first, you worry that it puts a little bit too much pressure on the scouts. We tried to relieve that by just saying, here are the types of guys we're looking for, and we were happy with what we came away with.
If we draft a player, they'll come to the table, they'll meet everybody around the table, and basically from that point, they're transferred over from the scouting department to the player development department. What will happen at that point is Jack Hahn, who does a lot of analysis for us on the video side of it, he will give the player development staff all of the information and data and video we have on the player. Now we have to build an individual plan for this player. It's vital for us that when we draft a player that we have a good sense of who they are as a person and what they're going to need for us in terms of support and development. That really is a big benefit to the players as they begin to get integrated as Maple Leafs.